I'll introduce myself. I'm Dale from Dale's Gig Reviews and Metalliville online magazine, and you are, of course, Tommy Bolan,
I was when I
wizard
woke.
guitarist.
Yeah, I'm
Sorry,
fuck. I said I was when I woke up this morning. But so go ahead. I cut you off. Go ahead.
it's fine. It's fine. Wizard guitarist from N.Y.C. It's important. You've got to put them dots in, or you get all sorts of bands coming up.
It happens. Well, N.Y.C. That's what it is. I'm from Queens, New York, born and raised. So there you go.
Yeah,
New
excellent,
York.
brilliant. But you're also in Warlock with Doro Pesch.
Yep.
Um, yeah, I bet that was a lot of fun.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I was the first American in the band. Did the whole album Triumph and Agony back in the day. You know, All We Are, all the touring. We toured with Dio, Megadeth, all over the world. And the album did really well, and it was like the biggest record of Warlock. So I did all the guitars. So it's a lot of fucking fun. I'm very proud of it. Very cool.
Yeah. Well, I was this old today, so 1 day old, that I found out it was Doro that was the singer of Warlock. I remember listening to Warlock when I was younger,
Oh yeah.
and I saw Doro at Stone Dead last year, Stone
Yeah
Dead
yeah.
Festival in the UK, and I never put two and two together.
Huh. Well, there you go. Well, shit happens, as they say, you know.
Yeah, she's quite the character, isn't she?
Well, I mean, to me, she's a great singer. I get along with her, and we go back. We have a history. We did a lot of great music together, so it's all good for me. I mean, I every time we play live, there's always a great chemistry, and the fans react to it, the reviewers react to it, and Triumph and Agony is a big thing for all the Warlock fans. So to be such a part of that together, is something we share, which is I think pretty awesome.
Yeah. Do you still play with her then? Do you still play Warlock occasionally?
Yeah, she still plays under the Warlock banner. Usually, when she does Warlock shows, she'll do the whole Triumph and Agony show, and I'll come back in like as a special guest, do the whole show. I mean, I came back and did the whole Triumph and Agony, album. We played at Sweden Rock, and then a whole bunch of festivals because that was the 30th anniversary of it. So it was just like it had never been played in its entirety before. So a lot of songs that fans wanted to hear, like "Make Time for Love" or "Kiss of Death," had never been played live. So we did that. Then there was a great chemistry that I kept playing with her some more on special shows, and I recorded on Forever Warriors. The other album she did after that, and I co-wrote the song "If I Can't Have You, No One Will" with her and Amon Amarth, Johan Head. We did that. Then I played on some other songs. I even sang on. I sang on the song "Turn It Up," and I played on All for Metal, the guitar riffs on that. And then then there was a live EP. Then of course Triumph and Agony Live that came out, and that was filmed in Sweden Rock and Spain, and that was great because the whole live version. There's a DVD, there's interviews, a lot of cool stuff. Because obviously it was great. Turning point. The fans dug that record so much, which I'm humble and appreciative of. Because I mean, to do something like that has that much longevity, you really appreciate. So yeah, then she would do Warlock shows here and there because she's got her own band, does her stuff. So I come in for stuff like that when needed or whatever, or when the marquee needs it or whatever the case. But otherwise, I'm full tilt with N.Y.C, and I got Stead Howland on drums and Steve Unger on bass. What I call the N.Y.C rhythm section from hell. So they're fucking cranking it. The album's doing fucking great, and I'm very proud of that. We have a lot of shit going on, and as they say, forget about it. You know what I mean? Buy the album, learn the album, hear it. Give us a chance, check it out. Fuck it, I think you'll dig it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get you. I
Long
was going
answer.
to ask you.
That's the real long answer to the short question you asked.
Well, I was going to ask you why thrash metal, but after listening to you talk, I sort of get it.
Dude, I'm an over caffeinated New York. You know what I'm saying? It's either like lead, follow, or get the fuck out of my way. You know what I'm saying? We bring that energy to the stage, so there's no time for bullshit artists and forget this. That's why I made the album I wanted to hear. People have been responding to it. We're getting a lot of great responses to it, and we have a lot of opportunities coming up, which I can't say just yet, but 2026 is gonna be pretty fucking busy. So there's some cool shit coming up. We're even doing a
Yeah.
really cool big giveaway in Metal Hammer, Germany next month. We're giving away over 3,000 euros worth of gear. We're giving away a Schecter Flying V, a PD amp, a Gator gig bag, a Levy strap, a full load of Tascam gear, a Morley pedal, Electro-Harmonix pedal, and I'm dropping names all over the place. Got my own signature strings here from Optima. Then they also do Brian May's signature set, Frank Zappa, Randy Bachman. There'll be a whole shitload of these in there. N.Y.C merch, the mug and all that stuff. You might even win yourself a fancy fucking hat or one of these shirts. But we're giving it away to one winner. And it's gonna be really fucking cool because I have a lot of great endorsers who support it. So it's all to promote Built to Destroy, the album, which you can read
Yeah.
on the chest.
Well, I'll send you my address for some of this merch.
There you go. Yeah, yeah, sure, man. Yeah, get you out there wearing it, man. Absolutely. Yeah, you
That'll
can
be
find all
brilliant.
theband.com. Here we got everything. We got shirts, hats, coffee mugs, fucking throw pillows, which you can use to either use or punch, and then pajamas, puzzles even. Fuck it, I mean, it's all good shit. I mean, promoting the product. I mean, obviously, all kidding aside, I believe totally in what I'm doing. So obviously, you want to hit on as many cylinders as you can to get as many people to notice it, so it becomes like as common as saying any other major act. That's the end game here. But I do that with the I say it sincerely. I mean, I like to fuck around and talk fast and all this shit. But when it comes down to it, I can talk the talk, but I can walk the walk. There's a difference.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
Well,
what I think.
I'm into my thrash metal. I mean, I grew up listening to this band, Megadeth, and
Yeah,
uh,
yeah.
Motorhead.
Warlock scored on their So Far So Good So What tour.
Yeah,
Funny story. Actually, I was supposed to audition for Megadeth after Warlock. I was speaking to Dave, and I came out to Los Angeles to see them, and I spoke to Dave Ellefson. I spoke to Dave Mustaine. I was all set up by the management and all this. I flew out, knew the songs, and I showed up. They were not there. They did. Now, granted, I say that with respect because they were having a lot of shit going on, as everyone knows, well documented. Obviously, I'm very happy they're all healthy and doing good now, and I'm still friends with Dave Ellefson. Dave Mustaine, when I see him, he's always, fucking super cool to me. But yeah, I flew out there, learned all the songs. I was, right, like, what the hell? But that's how I then wound up staying in Los Angeles with other projects and stuff. So, but yeah, that's a true story. I remember I talked to Dave Mustaine at Christmas, and I'm talking to him, we're talking about something. He goes, and I said, Dave, we should jam. He goes, and I swear to God, he goes, you mean you want to audition, Tommy? I go, yeah, dude, let's fucking jam. And the rest is the story I just told you. But what are you gonna
yeah.
do?
Well, because I like that sort of music, I absolutely love your album.
Thank you.
It's great. It's definitely on my Spotify playlist. I've been listening to it a lot.
Appreciate
It's right up my alley. I love the vocals in it. It reminds me a little bit of Pantera, how they sing,
it.
that heavy. Because you get your thrash metal where like you get them where they can be quite high on the ethereal sort of range, like Witchfind behind the weren't
Right.
thrash metal, but they sang very high and very heavy. Which so when I listened to yours, I weren't sure what I was going to get, and I've got to say I was pleasantly surprised. It was really good. Um, I also had some sort of Judas Priest influence in there as well. There was a
Oh, I
bit,
love Priest is one of my favorite bands. I mean, when I first started playing guitar, my brother owned the stereo, my older brother, so it was like Led Zeppelin around the clock, and then came. So I learned all the bluesy guitar rock. Then came in Deep Purple's, like all the exotic type stuff going. Then he put on the Frank Marino album, and that just blew my fucking mind. I put everything of that in the blender, so I was, and just made a mess of it. So then suddenly I was listening to all that type of rock, which is basically, more bluesy bass. And then suddenly I discovered Priest. I go, what the fuck? Holy shit, and just blew my fucking mind. I just dove into that. I was playing the hell out of Priest and just totally digging that. And we actually, when I was playing some shows with Warlock, we played with Priest at Bloodstock. And actually,
yeah,
Halford was on the plane with us. I was talking with Ray, and I know I'm dropping names, so I'll get the broom and sweep it up. But he was super fucking cool, and it was great because I must have wore the grooves out of Screaming for Vengeance. I mean, I probably blew the radio up so many fucking times with that. But yeah,
yeah.
Priest, I'm a big fan of it. To answer your question, 20 minutes later.
Like I say, I can definitely hear the influence in your music. So
Thank you.
it's right up there with what I would normally listen to, and a lot of my friends would normally listen to. So I know it's going to sit
I'll tell
well
your
with them
friends,
when I.
and tell your friends.
Yes, I will be. I'll be sharing the music far and wide.
Cool deal. Appreciate that. Good man.
Well, the person who I write for, Glenn from
Yeah.
Metalliville, he's friends with Stet on the. He's is he your drummer?
Yes, Stet Howling.
Um,
Yeah. Yes,
yeah,
Stet was playing with Metal Church. He was in Wasp for 10 years. He's played with a bunch of great acts. And yeah, I've known Stet back in Los Angeles for years. I mean, I'm from New York originally, but I spent a lot of time in Los Angeles, obviously. And I met Stet years ago. Always super cool guy. Then suddenly Warlock and Metal Church started doing shows together when I came back playing with Doro a couple of years back. And then we did a whole tour together. So I got to see Stead again, hang out, and he was as cool as he was then. So I was like, oh, this is, pleasure to talk to somebody I actually dig. And then I got to meet Steve, and I watched the two of them playing all the time. And Steve's a fucking cool as shit guy too. And I said, wow, that's a great rhythm section. So I said to Stead, so we should do something, man. I said, I got a lot of things going on. I got Adrenalizing Media, this company I'm talking to. I got a lot of good opportunities coming up. And he said, yeah, call me. So then suddenly, I started talking. Next thing you know, Adrenalizing Media got behind the project. My manager, Marcus, with his label. And next thing you know, I was able to fly them in because I had the album pretty much, I wrote the record. I produced the record. So they came in for like 3 days. We rehearsed, 2 days we recorded it. Then they went home. And they, like the lightning, they came in like a surgical strike, man, just nuked the joint. And it was great because they did what the songs needed, and that's exactly what I knew it would be. And they're so easy to work with, which is great because sometimes you've worked with people, it's like going to the fucking dentist. It's like, fuck this shit, man. Just that's why I said I'm doing this, with people I want to enjoy hanging out with. So then the record came out, then I started working on the music, the lyrics, all that stuff. Then even, the only other person I brought in singing was, the only other few musicians I brought in was Vince DiColo, who played keyboards on it, on the song Gasoline. Now, he did the soundtrack for Rocky IV, Transformers, Staying Alive. He came in and did like this. I mean, I just said, I had the song written up. I said, just give me some of this, give me some of that. He put some badass piano. Then he did this fucking insane synth solo, like old Rainbow meets Hard. Like, whoa, cool shit, man. Just fucking, lit that song up for what I needed because it was a very intense song. It's Gasoline's about the Farrah Fawcett movie, Burning Bed, a true story where she was such a battered woman that her husband was this like fucking demon, and she lost her mind when I just poured gasoline over the house, set the whole house on fire to kill him. And the judge ruled temporary insanity because if you see the movie, and I remember I wrote the lyrics a while ago, but it impacted me. So I'm like, wow, what the fuck? Then it just came together, So yeah, I think you had a question there somewhere, but I just gave you a story.
Well, Glenn's given me a couple of questions. He says, do you keep Stet supplied with unbreakable bottles? Because he plays the drums with bottles,
Yeah,
doesn't he?
plays with that. Well, we're working on that because actually N.Y.C is going to have its own wine and vodka. Funny you should mention that. Where there's a very big winery out here, vineyard, that is I've become friends with and has become and great people, or like they're award winning, they're top shelf shit. I can't tell you who yet, but they love the band, love the album. So we're gonna do like wine, vodka, whiskey, tequila. We're doing it champagne. So he'll have all the bottles he needs to play. He'll be set. So I got him covered on that, no doubt. Absolutely.
I've actually got, I don't think you can see it. I've covered it up with an album. I've got one of Bill Murray's Crystal Skull vodka bottles behind.
Oh, very cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. We'll have vodka, red and white wine, champagne, and whiskey. And definitely, and I think I said vodka right. Yes, we have 5. We're starting out with 5. Because this guy has the means to do all that. It'll be special. It'll tie into the album. It ties directly into N.Y.C. This is all going on as we speak. The conversations are happening. So that's why I can't give you any pinpointed details, but I can tell you it's in the works. But like anything, business takes time. We can sit around and drink the wine all day. No worries. It tastes great. I'm not worried about that. But you got to get all the ducks in a row because, unfortunately, it is very much a business. But we're all on the same page, so it's all going to be great business. It'll be great.
Well, my partner will have to be drinking that because I don't drink anymore. But I'll probably be sampling some of David Ellison's coffee.
He makes good coffee. Yeah. I've tried his coffee. Very good stuff.
I've never seen a drummer play with bottles before, so that'll be interesting. I've seen guitars.
That's a Sted Howland original.
Yeah, I've seen guitarists play with bottles and sliding and stuff like that. Yeah. Yeah, but I've never seen a drummer, so that one's interesting. So the next question that Glenn's given me is, who's the biggest diva in the band?
Diva? Wow, Stet would answer that question better than me, probably. I wouldn't say I can't point a diva finger just yet because I've not taken everybody on the road. But I've seen them on the road, and they're very easy going on the road. So I don't know if the diva has shown itself yet. It's revealed itself yet. So I'll have to get back to you on that question. We've yet to see the diva reveal itself, as it were. Everyone's luckily very professional, thank God. That's something that was part of my strategy, is picking people who were not of that essence, mind you.
It's all down what you got in your rider, really. Who's got the biggest demand.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Well, I don't know if there's gonna be any type of fucking insane shit in the rider that I know of. I mean, I saw that rider backstage with Metal Church, it seemed pretty normal. But you never know, dude. As the once you start playing more and the road and the insanity kicks in, and you start just fucking doing, you get into that fucking mode, shit might start popping up. So put a pin in that question. We'll definitely keep you posted on that. You might read about it in the funny papers or something somewhere.
I want my N.Y.C red wine served at a certain temperature.
Oh yeah. Well, I can tell you, when those demands start coming up, that's when the trap door and the James Bond car, boom, out the roof for anybody, myself included. you know, if I started acting like, hope somebody fucking kicks me in the ass, But
Yeah.
nonetheless, yeah. Luckily, everybody here, nobody at the moment, I would say, seriously has any of that type of pretentiousness or bullshit. Everyone has their moments. I mean, I'll throw a guitar through a wall if it bothers me. What the fuck? But but most of the time, everyone's cool. But yeah, but hey, check back with me in a couple of months after the road. This might be a whole nother interview. It'll be people swinging from ropes.
Are you going to? Is it NAM? NAM?
Yes, I'm always. I'll be at the NAM show, and I think I'll be even at that Heavy Metal Hall of Fame thing. I'm supposed to. My guy, I don't know if you know Monty Ritchie from Skateboard Marketing. Yeah, he's doing the radio for this record. He has. I just spoke to him. I guess he got me onto the red carpet of that thing going on out here. But yeah, NAM. I always. That's right before NAM's tied in. But yeah, I'm always at NAM. I go there. I usually play in my endorsements booth either for PV amps or Morley pedals, or I'll be there for Optimus strings and all the other companies I work with. Schecter guitars. Well, they actually Schecter with the Gator gig bags, Levy straps, Tascam, all the other companies.
Right. Because your album was mixed by Grammy nominated Ulrich Wild from, he did Static X, Zombie, and OTEP. Was that a lot of fun?
That one, you've got old information there, unfortunately. That was in a previous version of N.Y.C, which that never came to fruition. That was on the table. I was talking with him. There was a lot of conversation on it, and that was with a previous line. Because I've had N.Y.C for a couple of years with different lineups, but the band has always been mine. I own the name, all this, and this is a whole different vibe. And I wrote a whole different complete record compared to like any of the other material. The album in this case was produced by me. It was mixed by Kenny Meredith, who's done a lot of like session work out here, movie soundtracks, and Robert Vosgian mastered it, and he's done like all the Slayer records. He's done Black Sabbath, friggin' Alice Cooper, and the list goes on. But yeah, that's old information. You've been digging in the weeds. That's cool. It's impressive. You found that. That's an old quote. Ulrich's a very cool guy, but no, he didn't work on this particular project. No.
Well, this is what I do with them sort of notes. Then that's we'll just do that with that one.
Yeah, that one, that unfortunately goes in the round file, as they say, for the moment. Yes, but he's a cool guy. I'll give him that, no doubt. And of course, I'm a fan of his work, of course.
Yeah. So your new album is Built to Destroy. You've got singles, Lion Eyes, Built to Destroy, Heavy as Hell, which I've got to say I like Built to Destroy. It's a fantastic song.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, that's a song pretty much like, when everything's finally lined up against you and you finally realize you've had just the fuck enough, you just turn into the machine. Everything around you has made you the machine you are, I mean, speaking figuratively, and just, take everything into your own hands and just call your own shots, and no more lies, no more words. Like there are some songs, no more words, no more lies, out of my way, your time is up. Like, no more conversation. Fuck you and the horse you rode in on. This is going down this way. That's the anthem for the people of that, Built to Destroy, just I've had it, and then you can see I start coming unglued during the whole fucking song as it goes more and more. So, like even some of the other songs, I left a lot of the insanity in, like at the end of Full Tilt, when the band explodes, the fucking end of Heavy as Hell, that fucking honking noise is when the guitar's like about to explode, the speakers were going like this off the monitors. I said, no, that's the real shit, man. I mean, because I got to, bring in all my equipment to do this stuff. I wasn't, mailing in tracks or shit. I was in the fucking studio, working it. And it was a great fucking studio. And Kenny's a great engineer. So when you work with someone who's got the chemistry, you can get the ideas down to the track. That's the biggest thing, is the communication. Because I've worked with some engineers, some people that are not getting, or a certain soundman's like not getting your sound. I'm like, how could you not get the, So when he was finishing my sentences, I said, hey, Ken, he goes, I already did it. I go, fuck yeah. So the chemistry was on point, and that's critical. Just like with Stet and Steve, I said, just get in there, do this, do that, give me the feel. And I knew, they had what I wanted them to do. And they basically, forget about it. The rest is the insanity.
Yeah. I have got a little bit of a gripe, I'm afraid. A little, your video for Lion Eyes.
Uh huh.
You CGI'd the attractive woman. Why couldn't we have a real woman? You know?
Wow, that's interesting. You picked that up. Well, there's that's actually the guy. That's actually clips from the movie NRCity. NRCity is journalizing media is behind me. Jonas were playing in the Heaven and Hell bar in all three videos. Heaven and Hell bar is a featured place in the NRCity universe. NRCity is the main character you see in that video. That's Muno Freakus. That's he comes back to find out his brother's been murdered. It's back in NRCity in Germany. He finds out who did it. This, that, against the crime lord. This, that's a whole series of stuff, and that's him discovering that girl's betrayed him and stuff. So so that ties in with the whole thing of the movie. And we're even drawing the comic book in 2023. There was a comic book at San Diego Comic Con. Like when you see the comic book come live, those are clips from the comic book. So that movie is still in production, still doing stuff because Hollywood takes fucking forever to do shit, but we got all music and I even got a part in the band will be in the movie. There'll be a whole bunch of shit. It just takes forever. But as far as the CGI and that, it just fit the vibe what we were going for. And then the way they edited it all together, because you had Walter Schultz, who's the VFX wizard, who's done all stuff for he won the Oscar for Hugo, the movie Hugo with Arnold Scorsese. Yeah. And also has like 3 Emmys, and Marcus, who owns the journalizing media, he's also really great at all that stuff too. And it's a great eye cut, for editing all this shit. So it just seemed to flow, and it just seemed to fit because she came more alive out of the comic book, so it worked, so it worked for the visual. Because I use no AI in music. There's none of that horse shit going on. That's all fucking. No. Yeah, no, I'm when you hear the guitar breaking in half, that's me snapping the motherfucker over my leg, So, but as far as the movie, yeah, we took some creative license. I mean, we put some AI here, this, that, digital shit, and plus they used that thing Unreal Engine, which I'm not as much knowing that, but I know it's a cutting edge technology, and they did stuff with that. According to what we found from the people from Unreal and with Walter, that hadn't been done before, like in Heavy as Hell, combining elements and this and that, and the way shit looked. I'm like, I just like the end product. You know what I'm saying? I had a vision. I put my input in, what I wanted to see. They had their ideas. Of course, they directed it and executive producing it and all that, producing the videos. And so it just all came together. But you had a question there about 10 minutes ago. But yeah, we just decided what, that just worked what we were doing.
Yeah.
But don't worry. And when you see the actual movie, you'll get to see all that you need. We'll take care of you. No worries.
What was the movie called again?
NRCity.
NRCity, right?
Bolan, capital R, NRCity. It's part of the NRCity universe. A whole bunch of stories on it. And like I said, it's all being done now. I mean, they have like the guy who did all the Jackie Chan stunts, Andy Chang. He's the stunt director. They had one of the bad guys in the movies, that the tall guy Nathan. You saw him in Troy, the big guy that Brad Pitt kills in Troy. He's one of the bad guys, and he was also in Road Warrior, and not Road Warrior. The Mad Max, the later ones that came out. He was in that. Yeah. He's a fucking huge fucking dude. And then they had I think it was not John Singleton. I'm forgetting his name. Yeah, cool super guy. He's one of the main SWAT commander guys. He's super cool. He's been in, I think, Pirates of the Caribbean and other stuff, and he was in Anger Management with Adam Sandler. He's the guy in the plane, plays the officer. He just throws everybody off the plane. We don't have time for that attitude. He's a dude. He's like this big motherfucker, but he's cool as shit, and he's got the perfect attitude for it. So there's a lot of moving parts, man. Because and he's got another studio he merged with in Argentina doing stuff, which has a big screen and all this shit going on. I mean, so he's doing this N.Y.C. adrenalizing me. It's all fucking nuts. But the great part was when he got behind N.Y.C., he literally just fucking let me go wild. He said, "Okay, what do we need?" I said, "Well, we need this. We need this." He goes, "Okay." I said, "I need these guys flown in. You got it. It's this, that. I need months." And so he goes, "Do it." I'm like, "Okay, we need album cover. We need this." And boom, bang, and and now he's like, so he's become like my manager at this point. And he is. And then he's like attached to me at the hip. I talk to him every day, and we're planning, the next fucking move and all this. And then he's still doing all that movie stuff. And he's also an entrepreneur. And he's like, forget about it. I don't think he sleeps. So yeah. So somewhere in there you had a question, but I just fucking took it down the subway.
No. It sounds like it's going to be an awesome movie. So I'm really looking forward to that.
It's big. Like, I've seen some of the image trailer of it. He's got like, the whole stunt team. It looks like a lot of like that newer like Japanese animation, like, and the way all the and fighting and the evil. Like it's really fucking super cool. I mean, the shit they shot the image trailer where they filmed Top Gun, Maverick, and Gravity. Gravity. They shot it here in Hollywood, so it's really fucking cool. And that was just the image trailer for it. But like anything, man, everything takes fucking forever. You beat your head against the wall, then then you got to wait just a little bit longer. Then you make moves and this that because if you put something out before it's ready or before you have people behind you, then you're fucked. With anything, with music, film, anything, you can anyone like I don't know if you watch Seinfeld.
Yeah.
Anyone can take the reservation. You got to hold the reservation. Anyone can make the music, but you got to get the music out there. That's the difference. That takes fucking money and the right people, and there's so many people behind you, and you gotta have a great team. You can't play. It's like you can't play all 9 positions on the baseball team. You can try. You can run. You can pitch to yourself and run to home plate. You can beat your fastball, but it's a fucking event at that point. So you got to bring in strong people, and that requires everything from lawyers to movie to forget about it, dude. Just doesn't end. It doesn't end. And then when it doesn't end, it goes a little further.
Yeah. Brilliant. Going back to your band, N.Y.C, and your album, you hinted at a tour.
Oh yeah.
You hinted at festivals. Are you going to be coming to Europe, UK?
Absolutely. Yes, we're absolutely on the game plan for that. That's all being discussed. We have people in Europe now we're talking to. I can't go into all the particular details, but these people have the reach to book anywhere in the world, so we have people talking to America. So that's all on the table right now as we discuss the best option, where to go, what to do, what shows to do. But I didn't put this record out not to tour on it. So somewhere the ball is going to start rolling. I can't say exactly where we'll put the flag, first on the moon. But once we do, we'll start colonizing everywhere. So yeah. We'll be all over the fucking place. Absolutely.
Excellent. But when you come to the UK, obviously, I'm going to require VIP treatment, press pass,
All that stuff. Don't worry about it. I get that and $2 get you around on the bus, get you a good seat.
Fantastic.
No worries, man. You got me on. Find me on it. Find me on. Well, Glenn's got my information, but you can find me on Facebook and all that shit.
Yeah, I will do. So you've done a lot of touring in the past with different bands, and what's like the biggest sort of crowd you performed to? The biggest.
The biggest crowd, I guess, would be when I played a couple of years ago with Doro at Whack. That was super, super cool. There was like 80,000 people. That was fucking nuts. Came out and like you hear them all singing "All We Are." Then they went to Furemmer, and you're just looking. It's like a sea of people that doesn't end. Then you look further, you go, that shit's still going. And they were the coolest fucking people. It was a great fucking time. That was surreal. I guess that would be the biggest fucking crowd. That was amazing. Yeah, it was a great fucking time. Another cool gig I did was years ago when I was playing with Richie Ramone. I came back. I did his comeback record. We played a show in Australia at N.Y.C Stadium. It's where they had the Olympics in 2000. It was us, Aerosmith, Van Halen, Kings of Chaos, Buck Cherry, and that was nuts because it was a fucking stadium. So that was raining like hell, which blew my fucking mind. But just the fact that Van Halen was on the bill and Aerosmith, and we did play with Aerosmith again later at Sweden Rock. So, and I met Steven Tyler, very cool guy. More names, sweeping the broom, But no, those would be two pretty fucking huge gigs. But the Whacking gig, I guess, that was probably the most surreal. Then we played Bloodstock, Sweden Rock, and Summer Breeze, and Leanders Day Rock in Spain was great. The fans are out of their minds. That was really a great Warlock. They were really fucking tooth and nail into it, and it was great. Yeah. So any of those big festivals I played those, but I guess Whacking was the biggest. Yeah.
Yeah. So the next question, leading on to stage performances, what's the wildest thing that's happened while you've been on stage?
Wildest thing that's happened, other than smashing my foot, breaking my guitar. One fucking this is a bunch of them, I guess. One interesting, I swung my guitar around once when Warlock was playing the Ritz back in New York. I swung my guitar around once and I took the headstock right off. Now, if you knew about Floyd Rose's, the nut locks here, and meanwhile I look at him playing and everyone's looking at it, and I realize the guitar is fucking just swinging in the breeze, the neck, and I'm like, holy shit, stayed in tune. And another time at the Hammersmith Odeon when we played, I picked up my guitar by the tremolo arm, just fucking doing some shit, and all of a sudden, fucking 6 strings, bang, 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 broke right the fuck off. I'm going, what the fuck? So I'm just banging on the pickup for noise. It's the end of the song. And I remember we did 3 nights there with Dio, and the next night I came back by the stage door, and some kid goes, "Hey, you gonna break all 6 strings again tonight?" I go, "I hope not." But I broke all strings. I mean, I remember one time on the tour bus right before we went on somewhere in Cincinnati. I was walking down the aisle, and Doro was coming out of the bathroom, and I just turned my head. I turned back, and as soon as she opened the door, it was a stuck door. Bam! Right in the fucking head, and I went fucking just fell down. And then the last thing I heard was, "He's going down," and I went. She knocked me out. Hit me in the fucking head so hard. So if you see any pictures of me back in the day wearing a headband, that's because Doro knocked me out. Or at least fucking knocked me off my feet, I should say. So yeah, that was a clock to the fucking skull. What the fuck else? Yeah, just jumping across a riser in Sweden. I remember suddenly I heard something crack, I had these like Adidas shoes, which were like boxer shoes, and suddenly I see the fucking tip of my shoe turning red. Like, what the fuck? I smashed my toe in half. It was nuts. So yeah, I've seen all sorts of injuries. I mean, even with Warlock the last tour, when I a lot of times I'm up, down on the stage, rolling around, working myself in a full lather. I didn't have like knee pads on my knees, and I skinned my fucking knee like right through the pants, just right through them. So now, I wear those for safety, and I have extra leather under my knees because I'm constantly moving around. I don't, I just, fucking, it's instinctual. I start just going nuts. So, the safety is like Mark Weiss one time saw Mark Weiss, the photographer, said a quote. He saw us on the Monster Rock cruise. He goes, "How do you not hit Doro? You're moving like this and that." He goes, "I thought you were going to knock her out." He goes, I go, "Nah, I've never hit her. We never knocked into each other." I go, "We just have that perimeter, that chemistry." Because, she gets on my shoulders too when we play, So, I never dropped her, knock on wood, So, this is just the chemistry. When you get in the vibe, you just go nuts. So, yeah, there's a couple of stories for you, I suppose. There's probably more, I'm sure, if I thought about it, smashing guitars and here's a story for you. The very first show I played with Warlock, when I joined the band, I was the first American. Doro came out in Metal Hammer saying, "Tommy Bolan is somebody I really need right now. I play better, I sing better because of his playing. He's somebody I really need now." She said that's pretty much a paraphrase quote from what she said. Man, so everybody's like, "Well, who the fuck's this Bolan guy?" So I'm like, I'd been in just some other bands before, but nothing of this stature. So first show we play in Germany is like 8,000 people. I don't know what the fuck it is, and the song we started with Cold World from Triumph and Agony. Michael goes into the drum beat, and I'm supposed to start making all this fucking guitar noise. So suddenly, spotlight hits me. My guitar is dead. And I'm like, fuck, and so I'm sitting there and going, "You've got to be kidding me. What contest in hell did I just win, And I go, so suddenly I go, just like fucking Fonzie, I go, bam! Bang the guitar, like I was gonna put my fist through it, and suddenly the guitar came on, like Jesus went, because that's what, and then the guitar worked, thank God. But I turned fucking dead. I just died for that 5 seconds of death. I go, just saw my career go over, just done. I go, holy shit, and it just freaked me the fuck out. But luckily, thank God. And to this day I don't know what the fuck happened. Could have been a loose battery. Could have been just like a moment, or what the fuck, So that's one that you fucking your gut winds up in your mouth, and you're like, ugh.
I can imagine.
Oh, it was a nightmare. First show, first thing. Doro said all this great stuff about me. Triumph and Agony's going through the roof all over the place. People are loving it. And then next thing you know, here he is. He's playing. Oh, no sound. Thank God. Well, it even happened recently when we did a show, Come Back with Ghost. She bring me out for like the third song, introduced me for East Meets West, and suddenly, for some reason, the pedal board, I'm backstage, right before she's introduced me, I hit the guitar lightly. I go, okay, my guitar is on. I hit, because they're ending on like an E chord, so I hit the E chord, I'm backstage, but my guitar is working. I come out, she introduces me, crowd's there, and suddenly my guitar is dead. I'm supposed to do a little bit of scat, and they went to East Meets West, and luckily, the tech Justin, Doro has a really good tech, a good crew. This guy came out of nowhere, flying in, somehow figured out the adapter was bad and got it fixed, And then, and the one other heart attack moment is the first show coming back with them. We played Sweden Rock. And this is the first show back, Doro and Tommy playing together again. It was in all in the press. And suddenly I go to sound check, and I got this pedal board, which is great for flying in. You play whatever ramps they give you. Suddenly, ain't working. Just ain't working. And we got 20 minutes. Crowd's starting to come close. The other band's done, and I'm like out of my mind, going, "What the fuck died? It worked in rehearsal." So I go running to my trailer. I had to go down these stairs about like fucking like I was going from a 10-story building practically, then run like 10 miles into Cleveland to get my fucking bag and come running back with my adapters. So I had to sit there and do all the stuff. And then it worked. And even the crew goes, "Good recovery, man." But I did it because I mean, I know my gear. I mean, and normally I test everything, and I have triples, quadruples of everything. Because it breaks, fuck it, throw it out, put the next one in, figure it out later. There's no time when you're on the racetrack and the flag is down. So I'm sitting there patching all these. Remember, I'm 120 volt. This is all 220. So I'm like, what the fuck is all this shit? So it worked. It stayed there. So then later on, it turned out the converter I had that we were using in rehearsal, which is about this box to change everything. I remember the sound man goes, he saw that and goes, after it was all over, goes, "Oh, that? I wouldn't plug my hairdryer into that." I go, "What? And that's what I have? That's what you gave me?" So turns out, if you plug it in this way, no problem. But if you turn it and plug it in that way, it don't work. And there's no indication that it's backwards because the plug goes in. So I had a 50-50 chance of fucking up. And, and another fucking one goes, "Hey, fuck with this kid again." So I had a cardiac. I threw up on the side of the stage, ran to get my shit, and it worked, thank God. Because that's the biggest nightmare, is that shit breaks, and then it's even more pissed because you spent so much fucking time checking every patch cable, every string. I carry multiple guitars, one guitar breaks, throw it out the fuck. I one time jumped up and the wireless pack, the jack broke off into my guitar, which means like imagine breaking a key off in your lock. You're not getting that out. You got to take the whole motherfucker apart. So that guitar just got literally thrown. I said, "Give me that one." Boom. So, and you got to run back out because, that's rock and roll, heavy metal. That's the way it is, it's like fucking, that's my race car, dude. You always push it down. You're pushing the red every fucking time. And usually it's built to take that abuse, because I beat the fucking hell out of my shit. But luckily I endorse good products that go the distance. You can beat, my amps and everything else. I PV's great stuff. So, I don't have these problems then, But but no, the devil always shows up at dinner, dude. He always does. He finds a place at the table no matter what the fuck, So fuck it, I think you asked a question minutes ago. You asked me a question 20 minutes ago?
I'm loving your N.Y.C guitar behind you. I'm also noticing you've got double-decker buses.
Yes, I collect them. So feel free to send me as many as you can find. I collect everything from stamps, vintage Matchbox toys, double-decker buses, anything die-cast, and G.I. Joes, the old G.I. Joes, the 12-inch tall G.I. Joes. So anybody listening, you want tickets, anything like that, you grease me with that shit, you're set, dude. You're set. I got a good friend of mine, Jason. We're always talking Hot Wheels and Matchbox toys and all that shit. And to me, it's just fun stuff. But yeah, I big fan of that stuff. The double-decker bus, I got a truckload of them. And that's, the guitar, that's the logo on my main guitar, that's reverse colors. So yeah, so that's put there to stare at you. So that's blatant advertising right there, because it fits perfect on my shoulder. And I sit there and I check this out. No, that's actually a great Schecter guitar. And then the graphics made by Insane Skins does that for me.
So your new album, Built to Destroy, it's on social media, it's on various platforms. Mm-hmm. You've got it on CD, I believe.
That's in the works right now as we speak. We're working on vinyl, special edition vinyl. CDs are being made. We're gonna have a whole bunch of cool shit. We even got some bonus tracks that we throw in there, like the radio edits of certain songs. And there's like another 10 to 15-minute message of me talking about the song, narrating the songs and all that. There'll be special stuff thrown in. I mean, we have these new where the fuck is that? Where's the camera on this son of a bitch? There it is. These new guitars that have the logo on the pick, and then on the other side, that they'll be in there and all that. These are from Dunlop. Dunlop makes great picks and all that. But we'll include a whole bunch of stuff. We're gonna have really cool vinyl, and Marcus and Adrenalizing Media, they're organizing all that now. And I'm actually looking through ideas for the booklets, So yeah, we're gonna have all the vinyl. We'll have the whole fucking 9 yards.
I'll be buying your vinyl.
Cool deal.
I collect vinyl, so I'll be buying the vinyl. I'll be dropping you a message saying it needs to be signed by all the band.
Yeah, we can get that hooked up. Yeah, no worries. Yeah, man. Well, like I said, we're gonna come to England. I mean, I remember there was one radio show. Who's the guy? The guy was in Cleveland. or Boston. I remember he had a friend of his I was supposed to meet and sign stuff to, and it was like a fucking adventure. So yeah, we always take care of our people who are always cool to us. You know.
Yeah,
So
well,
yeah, no.
we've got two feature walls. You can't see it right now, but it's got all the vinyl what I've got signed, drum covers and drumsticks which are signed, and I've got them all displayed on the walls, including some signed Twisted Sister and Iron Maiden and things
Ah,
like that.
cool,
So, so if I get yours and it's signed, it'll go on my wall,
cool.
my
No,
wall of fame.
ah, my pleasure, dude. No worries, man. That'd be cool. Appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, when you perform, I'm disabled, so I'll be sat in the disabled stand. I
Mhm.
do gig photography, so I'll probably do manage your 3 songs, and then I have to sit down because I'm knackered.
Okay.
Um, when you're throwing out your guitar picks and your drumsticks, you're gonna have to send like a bucket round up to the disabled platform
I'll
because
get you hooked up, dude.
we
Don't
get
worry. I'll get you
nothing.
hooked up. I'll get you taken care of. I believe me. If it's our show and you're there, you'll come backstage, you say hello. I make sure you're all taken care of. No worries, man.
Yeah. Um, Sounds like I'm begging for stuff, but I meant
No, no, dude, no, dude.
we
You're a collector like myself. Look, dude. If you told me you had Matchbox toys, I'd put you in a headlock and start working you over. Find some double
yeah,
decker buses.
I have actually got these lovely
Of
toys.
course.
They're all the high speed cars, that broke speed barriers.
Oh, like the Bonneville Flats, you mean?
Yeah, the little cars,
Yeah,
like the one that went to Mach 1 and things like
yeah.
that. I've
That's
got.
the flats, all that stuff, and the salt flats, like an engine, like
That's
a
right.
jet. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Those
Yeah,
are cool.
yeah.
Yeah, I love.
I've got 6 of them, I think, in boxes.
Great.
Oh,
Well, give you my address. Throw them in the mail. But yeah, seriously, I mean, if you come across cool shit, dude, I'm always down to hear about it. Because to me, I mean, I do music all the time. I mean, I'm 24/7. Music. But as far as stuff like that, I love stuff like that because I collect. As you can see, I mean, there's even a car back there, a little red one I got. It's from Russia. It's a Russian car I've never even
yeah.
seen. I got that actually. I was in Finland. I got that, and yeah, I love stuff like that. And I don't even get to
Have you got a
display all.
London one? Have
Well,
you?
the buses back there, the buses,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
match.
yeah. I can't see the red double decker London bus.
They're up top. The camera cuts them off.
Right, okay.
Yeah, they're cut off. The red ones are up top, and there's corgis. Of course, England makes fucking Matchbox corgi, and there's Dinky, Budgie, all that. So I don't discriminate. I love anything that's like a cool car. It's all good
Yeah.
shit.
All my collectible stuff, my good lady calls it tat, and it goes in the loft.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, I hear that too. I got too much junk. But it's all good. I got a star in that
I've
movie.
got,
Yeah. So I
I've,
mean, to me, said I don't. I used to be heavily into muscle cars. Had too many of those. There's no place to fucking work around with those anymore. So those got out
yeah,
of hand. But yeah, but stuff like that's just fun for me. That I collect stamps. So I mean, Doro used to always save me stamps. So every time I'd see her, she'd have a pile of stamps from Germany for me and all that. Or everybody was mailing her shit, so she'd always hand me an envelope with stamps. I've not seen that in a while, but yeah, I dig. I got big stamp. It's all stamps behind me. Books, a lot of them, stamp books.
well, brilliant.
Yeah,
Um, I've got one final question,
sure.
and it's my beautiful ladies question, which I ask people at the end of interviews, and it's tell us something about you we don't already know.
Other than me being a collecting, hoarding fool, no. Uh, about me that you don't know. Uh, hmm. Well, I get asked this question sometimes. People, I guess, one question, which I got asked this question once at some of my guitar clinics I've done. You know, somebody asked me a question, goes, who was your biggest hero and influence and why? And I get asked that question. I remember I sat there, I thought it was like 120 kids at this clinic I was doing, and I go, well, it might not be the always popular answer. Maybe not everybody was as fortunate to star in this particular movie, but I was very close to my parents. My parents, when I hear my parents were the biggest believers in me I ever had. They're both gone now. They were married like 43 years. I'm Irish Italian. They got along like unbelievable. Sat on the couch every night, held hands. And that was
Yeah,
I was very lucky growing up watching that and how much my parents were blue collar. There was, I wasn't born, rich or anything. Father was a postman, my mother was a secretary. But I was very close to them, and I still a lot of my values, my work ethic from them. My father worked very hard. I remember, just I remember one time when I was in a band called Armed Forces years ago, and we were doing an album. We were recording the EP where this was like I think Joan Jett and Zebra in there and Blue Oyster Cult. So I was like just 17 years old. I mean, I had some guitar equipment. I was a guitar teacher. I had some guitars, and I remember I asked my parents back then. I wanted to get better equipment to record. And I remember I asked my parents. I said, I asked for about $3,000 worth of shit. I wanted to buy a Jackson and all this. And it's a lot of money. At least it was supposed for us. Some people that's fucking a trip to the restaurant. But I remember I said to my father and my mother. I heard them talking about it. They couldn't. It was a true story. I swear to God. I was coming down the stairs in our house. My parents were in the living room, and my father was talking to my mother, and my mother goes, father was Patrick. He goes, Pat, that's a lot of money. And my father goes, if we don't give him a break, who's gonna? And they gave me the money, and then I bought the gear, and I went and bought the gear, did the album, and then shortly after that wound up in Warlock, doing stuff in Warlock, and it just even goes back as far back as when I was first thinking of playing guitar. I did one of those fake Kiss shows. I did you dress up, you charge admission. We went to the ice cream parlor, got the old empty ice cream tubs, tummed them up there's pictures on my Instagram of this. We painted them up like fucking drum sets. I painted up cardboard guitars. I was playing lefty. I was doing Gene Simmons, did the makeup. We came out jumping around like a bunch of idiots to a live one and stuff. And I had my mother's boots on, and then like a month later I started playing guitar. And I remember I was working so hard on this, the promotion, training the band, doing the makeup. And I remember the morning of the show as I was walking out, and this line would later be said again to me at another time in the industry. My mother said to my father, goes, "Do you ever see a kid work so hard in your life?" And I heard that. And I've always been this pedal to the metal tenacity type situation, which is what it is now, And then I remember another time this is when I was with ESP Guitars back in the day. And I remember I was sitting there in the president's office. I was talking to him because they used to be big supporters of mine. And then suddenly the vice president walks in, and literally, I shit you not, this was Jose Ferro, says to Matt Massey and Darrow, goes, "Do you ever see a kid work so hard in your life?" And I went, "Holy fuck, dude. You just said what my mother said years ago," because they were very much, I was doing all clinics. They were supporting me. They were doing a lot. They were going to the wall for me back then. And that just fucking froze me. So I guess the long answer to your short question is my parents. There's the big influence. But even when I said that at the guitar clinic, going full circle to the beginning of the story, suddenly there was a dead silence. And I'm like, oh shit, they think I'm a fucking fool now. And suddenly the crowd erupted in applause. Just erupted in applause, And I remember somebody stood up, the next kid with a question, and goes, I go, "Yeah, what's your question?" The kid goes, I go, "My mom wants to know if you're single." He's with his mother. I go, "Well, no, sorry, I'm, not at that time I wasn't, and I'm not now either, but nonetheless, yeah, shit, it was a hell of a story, hell of a thing, man. My parents were fucking great. I missed them a lot. They've been gone for a while now. Yeah, so I guess that's the one thing people don't know is how much my parents influenced my life. I guess,
I had a very similar with my parents. They supported me a hell of a lot when I was younger, and I'm forever grateful for what they did for me when I was young. And your answer so far out of all the people I've asked is my favorite answer. So thank you very much.
They said one other thing that always stuck with me. As a kid growing up, you're just a fucking maniac doing your shit and all this. My mother goes, "Your parents are your best friends." She goes, "You don't know this now, but someday you're going to know this." And fuck if they weren't on point. Absolutely. As I got older and started getting into the game of life, you realize in the 0 hour who's there for you. And it was them. I was very blessed with that, because I've known many stories of people, they've done fine, of course, without their parents, whatever, because they had a different situation, and Godspeed to them and all that. But if you're asking my story and I'm telling my story, that's my situation.
Yeah. Well, what bothered me with my dad is he never said he was proud of me, not once. And when he passed, I was looking through old photos and I found a photograph of him at work. And on his board behind him were all newspaper cuttings of me and photos of me.
There you go. Yeah. It was that I hear you on that. I mean, my father, when I went on tour of Warlock, he put a map on the wall of all the countries I was playing. Because my parents were world travelers. My parents were very smart. They traveled. They loved. My father's passion was travel. They went everywhere. I think everywhere except maybe I don't know one continent. Maybe they went everywhere. That was their passion. They traveled. They saved their money. They worked hard. They bought the house back in the day when houses were like the price of a car. So the house got paid off quick. So they had no mortgage and all this shit. So, but they were always smart with the money. But they traveled. My father, he kept scrapbooks of all the. I have two brothers. He kept scrapbooks from the. Literally, I have photo albums of my father kept of me of that from the moment I was born, with all the cards I got as a child, my birthday parties, the newspaper clippings local of each day of my birthday growing up. And then as I got older and older, you see the hair getting longer, then the guitars come in, and you literally see the morph. And then when I joined Warlock, the book doubled because he had all the press, he had all the clippings of me and all these fucking magazines, Metal Hammer, Kerrang, and Circus, and all the other shit I was popping up in. And he was just like, very proud of it all. I was very lucky with that. My parents, they came to the show. I don't think it got to a Warlock show. That might have been too fucking loud from my mother wasn't doing too well at that point. But yeah, they were very proud of it, and they knew how hard I worked. And another thing, I was also they were also very much with me. Also one thing that's helped keeping me focused, and I don't mind anybody who does what they do, and I don't preach for shit. But I've never done a drug in my life. I've never taken a hit of a joint, hit of a cigarette, coke, nothing. Now, I've been around plenty of people who party, and hey, if that's your thing, there you go. No worries. It's when I see people get out of control, unfortunately, and it takes over their life, and I've seen that, and I've watched people die from it. It's just, that's the sad part. I like to have a drink, no doubt about it. I never go on stage bombed, except one time in high school, which I remember we were playing a bar, and holy shit, I remember I had all these tequila shots, and I broke into smoke in the water, playing, I'm like, whoa, the guitar kept going further away. I'm like, this ain't good, But I never had any problems with any of that shit, and that helped me keep my focus. And also my parents were, that helped me bond even more with my parents. I was lucky. Now, like I said, anybody who parties, I know plenty of people who party, that's totally fine, man. If you got it in your curriculum of life and you got control of it and it doesn't got control of you, then hey, rock and roll, that's your thing. But for me personally, that's how I maintain my energy, my attitude, what I do, my wind on stage, and because I'm jumping on like a fucking nut. You can't be bombed out of your mind. At least for me, if you're asking more about, I should be like laying horizontal and you taking notes of this conversation, like, so tell me about your first guitar time, like I'm fucking nuts here, But yeah, so that's another thing maybe someone doesn't know about, or they may know, because when I got a lot of people who know me close know that was an element that I bring to the table. But like I said, dude, everyone, do your thing, as long as you got your shit together, that's all that fucking matters at the end of the day. As long as you're good, you and your own, that's what matters.
Yeah, exactly. I've never touched anything, and now because of my situation, I'm on so many legal drugs. It's unbelievable. I'm rattling.
That's a completely different story. I mean, I got friends of mine who are on things for certain situations. Yeah, I get that. I mean, I'm not. Believe me, and I hope I don't. I'm not preaching at all. I'm just having a conversation. That's all this is. I ain't like, oh, you probably can't be. Fuck the hell, what? I've been out of this business 30 years ago. I've been gone. But no, so I don't mind. It's all.
I get that. Yeah, I get that. But thank you very much for your time. It has been a genuine pleasure.
Cool.
It's one of the most enjoyable interviews I think I've done so far. It's been really good. So I've really enjoyed it. So thank you.
All right, man. Great meeting you, man. Stay in touch and make sure you tag me. Let me know this is all posted and up and all that.
Will do. Hopefully we can catch up next year if you go on tour in the UK.
Yeah, dude. And keep your eye out for those Matchbox toys. You got my email. Forget about it. That's the quickest way backstage. Got a London bus. You're in London, dude. Hook me up, man. Go. You got that shit local. I'm fucking digging weeds for that shit here. Or when I change planes in the UK or play there, or I'm on eBay looking for the fucking shit. That's where all that came from.
Brilliant. Well, thank you, and I'll see you soon.
Good talking to you, buddy. Take care.
Bye.